Hi everybody, Anonymous here, starting a new manga review. This week we have The Black Cat and the Witch's Classroom, or Kuroneko to Majo no Kyoushitsu. Witch Classroom, or Black Cat Sensei, as its kind of vernacular is the new series by Kaneda Yousuke, the author of Boarding School Juliet. Now, if you're familiar with Boarding School Juliet, I'm going to tell you right now you're going to enjoy this series. If you're not familiar with Boarding School Juliet and you enjoy rom-coms, I'm going to recommend you stop watching this video right now and go read Boarding School Juliet. It's a fantastic series and one of the best romantic comedies of the past decade. Now, there's some debate on the ending of Boarding School Juliet, which, in terms of was it a little rushed or did it get canceled? The anime didn't do as well as expected, but that's neither here nor there. The humor in the classroom setting was one of a kind and just made it a fantastic read. So if you can get over what is it like, relatively speaking, a 7 out of 10 ending, the rest of the series is pretty much a 10 out of 10. Um, so given that it's been about 2.5 years since his new work or since his last work, Boarding School Juliet. So this was a very anticipated release when it came out a little over a year ago. Now, currently to date, there's somewhere around 25 to 26 issues. The goal is to do reviews of every chapter. With about 3 to 4 chapters a week until we catch up and then review them as they come out. This series comes out bi-weekly, so once every other week, not twice a week, though that would be very impressive. And the first chapter starts with over 74 pages, so it basically is the first volume all in of itself. I think there was two more chapters in the first volume before it came out. But given Kaneda Yusuke's rom-com pedigree, Witch Classroom isn't exactly what readers expected, at least from the first chapter. We're introduced immediately to Spica. That's the girl here on the fake broom. And she is the female main character, obviously, based on the fact that she's in the first 3 pages, and she's in the front of this page with the aforementioned titled Black Cat on her head. So here she's trying to learn to fly, which gives us already a sense that there's going to be magic in this world. And then speak of Virgo, which the last name is very important, Virgo. Uh, within the first 5 pages, we see her crash land, immediately showing some comedic chops on the series. And Arya is either a villainous or antagonist or just a friendly rival, uh, shown laughing at her. It's a pretty comedic series, much like Boarding School Juliet was. Neither series takes themselves extremely seriously, and you see that already on this page with some of the humor and the facial expressions. I mean, Juliet goes through 3 different emotions from the top panel to the mid panel to the low panel, and then you're given a little more backstory about a guy named Claude, who she thinks is amazing. Arya thinks is less than amazing. We also get some sense that Arya is a little bit more powerful, as she's immediately able to cast this water heart, I guess. Now we don't kind of learn much about her except that we move on, and that Spica wants to compete with her. So she does that by again immediately jumping off the roof. The black cat is now appearing, and we're on page I think 10 or so. And the mother and siblings think Spica is also an idiot. A little bit of fan service there at the top of the next page, but the cat is a little bit of a sassy cat. Um, but uh, Spica spends these pages trying to learn, and then suddenly, when this cat appears, he's immediately able to throw her up in the air as if there's nothing easier, which is pretty impressive given the fact that she spent the first 15 pages basically landing on her face as if as if gravity was purposely attracted to making her nose bleed. So she begs him to be her master, and him her apprentice. And she explains why she wants to go to this school. Uh, we get some a little bit of sexual innuendo, but most importantly, we kind of get an understanding of why Spica wants to go to this school. Her hero Claude, who saved her life, was once again considered the best ever to teach there, and he disappeared a number of years ago. uh, and everyone thinks he's a coward except for Spica, who we learned later on is uh, one of his fangirls. This is a pretty funny scene where he's teaching her how to order a beer, and she does not like that. Again, the comedic chops come through very quickly in this series. It doesn't take itself very seriously. It does get serious when it needs to, but for the most part, it's a very light, easy read that makes it enjoyable interaction. The enjoyable parts of the interactions with the characters, regardless of what's going on with the settings. So she promises that if he promises her he will train her if she could find the answer to why he turned into a cat in 1 month. So again, more references to Claude, et cetera, et cetera. So she immediately gets to work, spends a lot of time reading. The books we explore a little bit more of the world, though we still haven't really experienced what's going on, except that the books are all magical, and that she's struggling to kind of figure out where the answer to his question is. So we speed ahead. We get a little bit of a mini training arc here, and we get to the point where it's been a month and she's got no answers for him. So she now explains to the cat that she really wants to be like Claude Sama, and interact with him and be brave. And we learn more of the backstory of why she's so obsessed with Claude. Uh, there was a giant heretic attack. I think Herberus, one of the is supposed to be the reference of one of the dogs. It looks like she has some giant snakes in the background, but basically he was this grand fighter who used light swords to save her life. And then sure enough, that instance was very quickly when Claude disappeared. In fact, she might have been the last to see him in before he disappeared. So the cat doesn't really buy her story. She, he thinks Speak is a little bit of an idiot, which is probably true. But they decide to part ways. Well, sort of, except they find this hidden aspect of the library. Now, I don't want to give away too much of the plot twists later on, but after they get into this hidden part of the library, they find this awesome ruin that helps the cat figure out who he is. And it explains to him that his soul is actually a cat, and because his soul is a cat, he can't become human until Spica, funny enough, has the power to transmogrify him and keep him as human. So, because she has amazing healing powers, what a coincidence, the cat says, which is funny enough. And obviously, again, this is somewhat of the author does have a romantic pedigree, and ooh la la, you need a kiss to get the cat to change back into human. Well, here it is. It's kiss on the butthole. So again, we're not taking it. The series doesn't take itself very seriously, and it, again, it's more entertaining. I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh. It's more entertaining and loose than just a generic love story. So we kind of find she wants nothing to do with that, which makes obvious sense. I don't know if I want to kiss any butthole, let alone a cat's butthole. So we continue on. It turns out the library is under attack, but hey, look, Cerberus, or well, this one's just two-headed. A two-headed dog's attacking, and it looks like it's the same heretics that attacked in the flashback. Who would have guessed? Look at that foreshadowing. And it looks like a heretic broke into the library to try to steal the giant stone ruin. Well, what's Spica gonna do? She runs and hides. The cat wants him a kiss. Kiss, 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 butt kiss. But not dick butt kiss, the Bears linebacker. Just kiss him on the butt. So run, 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 explosions. Cat tries to save her life. Again, I want to speed through some of this because this is the entertaining part, and there's not a lot to talk about until we get here. Until we get this lovely, beautiful, romantic scene of her kissing the cat's behind. I mean, that's just some beautiful art. You can't, you just got to wonder what kind of pinup that'll be for someone in the future, maybe someone's background. And then, hey, who would have guessed? The cat was actually Claude. Who could have saw that one coming? That's amazing. Would have never seen that plot twist. So Claude quickly dispatches the evildoers, and as he is really quite powerful. I mean, he was powerful as a cat. Now he's in human form, and it's like going Super Saiyan. Uh, and then to really drill the fact in to show that he is such a nice person, he's basically, once he's done, he's like, hey, Spica, thanks for the help, peace, you're worthless to me. So maybe she was wrong, and maybe he was kind of a coward and a little bit of a brat. But as he's about to leave, poof, back to cat form. And as he's talking, the giant kind of drunk, crazy book that the heretics wanted to steal, is telling him Spica needs to have the insane amount of magical powers for him to stay human forever. So train her he must, otherwise cat he will stay, which is probably the worst case scenario for him. So as we kind of get to the end page here, some thoughts. This was much lighter, as I mentioned, on the romance than Boarding School Juliet, but the humor is still there. While this chapter was a great setup, we learned some of Spica's personality, but we really only interacted with two characters, three if you include Arya, which we'll meet later. But for the most part, it was just the primary two characters. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of magical world this story is in, and what kind of other characters populated. I mean, both Spica and the cat and Arya are all kind of insane in one way, and we can both see all three of them on this final spread. I'm sure at a school setting we'll see a lot of both teenage hijinks, especially given the limitless potential because it's magic, and I'm sure the humor will carry through. Again, Boarding School Juliet had a lot of slice of life humor chapters that really carried the series almost more so than the actual plot moving along stuff. I mean, she has to kiss the cat's bum. So, what kind of creative mind thinks of this and thinks this is going to be successful? Yet it is. Anyways, see you all later this week with a recording of chapter 2. Talk to you later. Anonymous out.